I know you're afraid. I understand your fear.
One more
I would be afraid
minute.
of me too, Steve.
Well,
Just be cool about it.
It kind of sucks
Don't be
being in
an
my
asshole.
video.
all right. Well, we need to keep the name calling down too. All right. We need to be respectful of each other even in recess.
This is my case anyway. They're trying to just mismouth. They're scared.
Oh yeah. No question.
Bruce, did you have a chance to read that email that I sent you? I know last time you said you didn't get a chance to read the letter from my attorney. Did you get a chance? I know over a week now, Bruce.
Oh, okay, we got one. Thank you. Let's leave this. I'm just going to read to you out of Robert's Rules of Order while we have we're going to start the meeting again and just as soon as I finish reading this, okay?
Okay.
A point of order. The chair has the duty of making sure that rules are followed. Any member may call the attention of the chair to a violation of the rules. To do so, you stand up, interrupt the chair, which Steve is doing very well. No objection. This is I'm not being smart ass here. I'm just saying it's fine. Or a speaker. You may interrupt a speaker if necessary and without waiting to be recognized, okay? There I'm being reprimanded by the very book. So he does not need to be recognized. He can just holler out. And he's supposed to say point of order, which he has done. Anyone speaking takes a seat and the chair says, quote, the member will state her point of order, end of quote. Then tell how you think the rules are being broken and sit down. Okay, so that's instruction to whoever is interrupting the speaker. No second is necessary and no vote is taken. Instead, the chair stands and rules on the point of order saying, quote, the chair rules that the point of order is well taken, or the chair rules that the point of order is not well taken, briefly giving the reasons, and then those are recorded in the minutes. So then there's appeal, and we've had an appeal here today of the ruling of the chair already, which is fine. The group as a whole, not the chair, is the final authority in judging whether the rules have been violated. If you disagree with a ruling by the chair, you may appeal it to the whole group as a whole, which we have done today. Without waiting to be recognized, you stand and say, quote, I appeal from the decision of the chair. An appeal requires a second. All right? An appeal may generally be debated by the members, but unlike debate on other motions, each member may speak only once. The chair may speak and debate twice. The first time in preference over other members, and the second time to close debate. And this is my final comment on this section. It reads, however, the vote must be taken on the appeal without debate if the appeal, and then there's an A, B, and C here. I guess I have to read that too. The vote must be taken on the appeal without debate if the appeal relates to indecorum or transgression of the rules of speaking, or if the appeal relates to the priority of business, or if the appeal is made when an undebatable question is immediately pending or involved in the appeal. Okay, so then, we have done all of those things, and it looks as though we are actually proceeding pretty much in order. I think we've been proceeding pretty much according to the rules. So are there any questions before we proceed then? Because I have a feeling that we may be doing a repeat of this whole scenario.
I think there's an appeal.
Madam
It's already
Chair,
happened, but there's not been a second to the appeal.
So now, Mr. Golden?
From what I heard you read,
Yes.
it's been appeed. Those words weren't used, but your ruling has been appealed.
And overruled.
No, well, you overruled, but your ruling has been appealed already. Someone needs to second that.
Who appealed it?
Well, the order of everything was not very clear. I didn't really hear her make an entire statement on whether she took the point or didn't take the point. That needs to be done first before an appeal can actually be
Point of
articulated.
information,
So,
is there a way to get a parliamentarian here, like Will Topol's a parliamentarian, he's an actor?
I think that is a possibility.
Madam Chair, point of order.
we're in recess.
Okay.
Are we on the record or not?
Actually,
not.
we are actually, excuse
3
me,
minutes is coming on. Are we on the record or not?
we are not. We have not come out of recess. And I'm actually very thankful for it. The only thing that one moment please, I will recognize folks, please.
Can anybody hear me?
We're not in session just yet.
Yes.
You can't
So-
recognize folks if you're not in session.
Well, we're not in session, but we're talking.
Well, then get it set.
We're just talking about rules of order here. And we're in recess. Excuse me. We've got two groups, and I apologize, but I can't see those of you online. And we'll go to the online folks just for a moment here to out of sharing times airtime here.
Hello, this is Ralph.
Hello, Ralph Seekins. Please go ahead. I recognize. Well, we're not in session, so speak freely.
Can I ask just a couple of questions? What are we arguing about? Is it that Liz Vasquez cannot into the written, or is it just that there's something that you wanted to be read and couldn't you then just read it rather than have Liz read it and then
Yes, Ralph. Let me answer.
not the whole argument?
The frustration, I don't know if it's an all-out argument exactly, but the frustration was I believed that when I ruled Frank McQuarrie's first motion of the day out of order, I wanted to speak to that, and Steve stood up and said, point of order, he didn't want me to speak about it, but Robert's Rules of Order that I just read, it says that the chairman who rules the motion out of order may speak to that, and I didn't get to do that. And we had a point of order, and then I allowed that to proceed, and we voted on it. And so instead of, so this discussion that we're having is essentially because I felt it would be helpful to the way we proceed for the rest of the day. Secondly, I did not have opportunity to speak to the reasoning for why I ruled Frank's motion out of order in the first place. And so if I do that subsequently today when we come back into session here in a few minutes, if there's a motion on the floor and I believe that it should be ruled out of order, I should, as the chairman, be able to state the reasons why, as I just read in Robert's Rules of Order to everyone.
And you're probably right, Madam Chair. Let me ask a question. The whole thing seems to stem from whether or not some Vasquez, who is not a member of the executive committee, could read something on the record, which probably solve the whole problem if there's something that's printed. Just have you read it, and we won't have to go through all the motions and the arguments on the motions, and we can go on with today.
Well, let me just say this: in the lacking of the ARP attorney who's normally, I have asked Liz to for this particular day to serve in the capacity as a person to, which would essentially be when it comes to a question of the rules that I would like to call upon Liz. And we have the Robert's Rules of Order, and together that we work through, these questions, and then get resolution. So thanks for your question, Ralph. And we've got some other people who would like to speak. But Steve, now we're going to come into session pretty quick. So is there anyone who has a burning question that we want to handle while we're still in recess?
Yes, I do. Steve, straight.
We'll go Steve, and then we'll come back to the online folks. Steve, straight.
Yeah, I just want to assure, while we're in recess, that my interest here is that we follow proper procedure. That's my interest.
All right.
I have no problem in a recess having Liz Vasquez speak or anybody else. That's not an issue with me. I would suggest to you that might be something that might happen if we extended the recess a couple of minutes, and Liz could say whatever she wanted to say, and then when we come back into the body, come back into the meeting, then we're still on our rules and procedures that this is an SEC meeting and others are not permitted to speak.
Thank you.
I would like to point out that...
Thank you. I appreciate... Now, that is what I call good faith.
And then also...
And Christy, I would call upon you.
Okay,
and then...
Since we told all the SEC members how to do their job, maybe we can tell the spectators how to do their job.
Do you have any comments in that regard?
Yes. You guys are not allowed to speak at all. You're spectators.
We can speak during a recess, though.
When it's in session.
Yes, but she's commenting now on during the more formal meeting, which is what we're going to try to proceed to. So
please
thank
don't
you,
yell
everyone.
at anything these people object
I do want to
also.
point out that the chairman, like for example, the last meeting that we had on Thursday, We did have an outside parliamentarian come in as an advisor to the chair who was not normally appointed. He's also out of state. I would think that you, as chairman, would be able to have an advisor as legal, even though she's not the appointed one.
And that is what I was wanting to announce to the body at the onset, and that is what I intend to have happen, unless there's some rule that we're breaking. Okay, now, I would like to call
Madam Chair,
back to online, and then Liz Vasquez will follow. Yes.
there's music on the line. Can't hear what's going on.
Oh, thank you, sir. Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
But we're not on the
Dr.
record.
Diggum?
We're trying to memorize your voice. Okay, thanks. Music. I hear that beautiful piano music, but
Somebody's put us on hold.
It's not.
we're.
Oh wow.
I wonder what this means.
It means somebody put you on hold.
Yeah, I think someone's doing it on purpose. I think someone's making a lot of noise on the phone on
Okay.
purpose, and it's not appreciated.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. One of the members online.
This is Ralph. It sounds like somebody put us on hold.
Yeah, the only way to get around it is for everybody to hang up and call back.
Yeah, that's
Because you
what
can't talk
I'm
to the person who put
Hey,
you on hold.
What's that?
Music's off.
Yay!
Music is off. Okay, excellent. Thanks for bringing that.
You might mention to whoever was just on hold. that they-
Rex.
and that was my fault. Sorry about that. I didn't know it would put you into a music.
Shocked.
Well, hopefully we still have our senses of humor intact. All right, we're going to hear from Liz Vasquez.
Really more of a Mozart moment.
Very well.
I was thinking Pantera myself.
All right. I am going to call upon Liz Vasquez, and this is still in recess, and then we will proceed. We will proceed.
Madam Chair, my personal opinion, we're in recess.
Yes,
Is
could you
that-
come a little closer to the microphone,
Yeah,
please?
I mean, we're in recess right now.
That is
and
correct.
My personal opinion is that we ought to proceed. A vote has been taken on the motion to table, and there was a yay, vote on that. I'm personally disturbed that a parliamentarian, the same parliamentarian that was available on Thursday night is not here. It was assumed that he would be here. Everybody knew of the date and time and the fact that these hearings would happen today. So there's a question there that perhaps at one point somebody should have known that the parliamentarian was not available today. As a courtesy, a lot of people have been inconvenienced, and it's not fair to people unless there was a genuine emergency. I find that very disturbing. But the motion carried. I'm not rules. I know something about Robert's Rules of Order, but from what I see, the motion was properly done, and it probably is in the best interest to get the same parliamentarian involved, someone who's really, a specialist. So.
And if you have any comments to make about, your willingness to volunteer for today, any other further comments?
Oh, sure. I'd be
Just
glad
we're
to do
still at
that.
recess, so
Ideally, down the road, what we may want to do as a body is get some retired administrative law judge or retired judge to do these hearings, to preside over these hearings. Is what I see would be down the road the appropriate way to handle these type of hearings.
You should be a Republican.
Well, excuse me.
yes, of course.
Nice.
No. The role of a presiding officer like that would be to be totally neutral, totally not involved, whatever, and give both sides a fair shake and know what due process is. I see that there's a lot of holes in the whole process about due process, and I see a lot of holes in the rules. I mean, the rules are totally inadequate to address some serious, removal from office is a very serious consequence. It goes to the reputation of someone. It goes to a lot of things. And I just am a little taken aback by how casual this whole, the removal process has been considered. So that's just my personal opinion. But I think the motion to table was properly carried and approved by the
That is-
committee.
that is
so
correct.
I
That is
think,
correct.
Madam Chair, we'll need to proceed and see
I will
what other
proceed.
motion.
We are going to proceed now.
Madam Chair, since we're sort of still in resources.
Well, yes, but I think there.
Now,
Yes, Rex, you are. I mean, we're still at recess, but please proceed with your statement.
you know, I